Let's bring in now Dr. Waleed Phares, Fox Business National Security Foreign Policy Analyst. Waleed, your thoughts first on what little we do know at this hour about damage, about injury, whether any there are casualties. As I said earlier, it's almost inconceivable that there would not be casualties if indeed the reports are accurate that as many as 6 of these missiles, perhaps more, did hit the base at al-Assad. Your thoughts?
Well, Lou, first of all, we have official reports or official statements by our U.S. defense acknowledging that al-Assad base and positions in Erbil in the north, Kurdistan, have been targeted. But we have also an official statement by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard just an hour ago confirming that they launched a first wave. There is a second statement from Iran that they are preparing a second wave. All of these are now online. We can see them. We also have information coming from the Iranian opposition. They have a lot of information, from within Iran and from within Iraq about the readiness of the Iranians. Now, casualties, we don't have any information at this point in time. Obviously, all the networks and media are trying to get a sense. I am sure the U.S. government is going to issue a clear report about that. The most important matter is what's in the head of the Iranian regime. What are they trying to do? And let me break it down for our viewers. In Tehran for the last few days, there was a debate in the leadership between those who are hot-headed, meaning the base of the Quds Force, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. They definitely wanted a strike, a series of strikes, revenge, versus others not very visible who are seasoned, who are very concerned about what? About President Trump's statements and then the action that followed. So the debate was about should we respond and enter this war or confrontation or limited war and risk the regime or risk whatever we've achieved in the region or not. Apparently, the answer now is that the leadership has decided to send this wave of missiles.
A wave of missiles, and it appears that there is a preparation. The Iranians made it very clear. We know that their military went on high alert in the last 24 hours.
That's right.
We knew they did so for some purpose, and my guess is our Pentagon, our national security apparatus expected the worst. This is not the worst that could have been imagined in terms of the dimension of it, but it's a strike against U.S. forces. Yeah. And the foreign minister of Iran made it very clear they were creating what they considered a proportionate response, along with propaganda nonsense that he was spewing. But he said, he used the word proportionate. The president has said his response will be disproportionate. Yeah. What should be the targets in your mind? We don't know what the Pentagon and the president have chosen, but what are the appropriate targets in response to this assault?
I wish I can answer in details, but I can tell you one thing that we all know, that the Pentagon and the intelligence community are now in interaction with the president and the administration to offer what they can do. They could do huge things, and the president has already in his tweet said that it will be disproportionate. But when we go back to the reality on the ground, the Iranians are trying to be limited because they have 3 ways of doing it: attacking our forces in Iraq, attacking our Navy in the Gulf area, Persian Gulf area, or doing something here at home. They know that the thickest red line is at home because the response is going to be similar to our response when bin Laden attacked New York and Washington. That is the fall of the regime. They know that. So I can't imagine that they would be suicidal to do it. In the Gulf, if they engage...
You don't think this is suicidal?
This is kind of still controllable. At this point in time, we will respond, definitely, but this is still controllable. What I'm saying, if they cross the red line and kill Americans at home, that would be uncontrollable. The second most dangerous thing they would do is try to attack our ships, our fleets, or our allies in the Gulf across from Iran. The response is logical. President Reagan has ordered something like that, destroying 1/3 of the Iranian fleet in 1983. We will do the same and much bigger. So the most limited place they can engage with are our forces in Iraq, and that's what they're trying to do. Now, the rules of engagement are going to tell us a different story. We'll see.
That brings up a very important question. It's been 2 hours, over 2 hours, since these attacks were launched by Iran. We are not getting any details from the Pentagon. We're getting no details from the White House. Now, that can be for a number of reasons. That for some reason, there isn't apt communication between the Pentagon and that base, those bases, and our troops, which is, I would hope, an impossible contemplation. And the second is that there is a reason that they are deferring this. What is your judgment about why we are not getting any information from the Pentagon or the White House?
Excellent questions, my friend Lou. Basically, the Pentagon has issued already or some level of the Pentagon issued a press release saying, using a key word, which is, we are doing now assessment. We are assessing what has happened. What does that mean? We want to know what kind of casualties we received. Casualties in lives, in infrastructure, in weaponry. We want to know where the Iranians have bombarded, and we want to know something else.
You and I know that they have that early assessment. They may, and certainly will, have better information over time, but they've got that early assessment. And the American people have a right to know what's going on. And this is deeply frustrating that we know that a base where American forces are posted has been attacked, and we're not hearing what's happened. And I have to tell you, that is to me deeply troubling and unfortunate.
I agree with you 100%. But let me give a little bit of space for the administration, just a little bit of space, and we'll see in the next few hours, which is the time between getting the assessment, and I agree with you, our people are fast. The assessment is here most likely.
Excuse me, Waleed. We understand that there are now reports that, indeed, Iran has launched a second wave of missiles against targets in Iraq, ostensibly.
That's what we announced here on your show, that the Iranians have stated that they are going to launch that second wave. It is happening now. It has begun. It has begun. So my point, that would answer the point I was trying to make. The real assessment is not just the damage, is where are the Iranians going? Because one wave will have one type of response. A second wave, if this is confirmed now, and you say this is confirmed, then it's a different ball game. And of course, you have the decision-making process. That's the president and his team, national security team. They are where this decision is going to be made.
Yeah, and the president has said, again, repeating, that indeed there will be a disproportionate response. We are at a point right now at which we just simply do not have any new information coming from any official source. We do know that at least the streets of Baghdad the night at which our embassy was attacked, which the president has sent in Marine reinforcements to protect that facility and those Americans based there. But the idea that we still don't have even early reports is not only frustrating, but it's unusual that we would not. When I think back to the Persian Gulf War, immediate communications around the Middle East, that was a very long time ago. It makes no sense. And I would ask you to consider what might be the reason for it.
That's another great question. I mean, we don't have all the answers, as you know, Lou, but this is what I would suggest. During the Gulf War, the second Gulf War, during the invasion of Iraq, we had the initiative. Our forces were moving forward. So logically, and I was following this as an analyst then, in 2003, logically the information will be given by our defense institution as they are accomplishing these missions. Now, we are under attack. It's a different story. So we're talking now about a second wave.